adult. Okay.
All right, I think we finally figured it out. I have spent hours ripping apart wiring and testing different things.
I thought it might be my flasher relay, so I pulled it out of its little cylinder that it sits in. Just taking a look at that. There you go, got some focus on her. And it looks okay, no corrosion that I can see. Actually looks in really good shape. When I have all my signal stuff off, but when I turn the one way, then she's got some action there. And then when I change it over here to go the other way, okay, changing directions, right about whenever I can. It's got one click on her there. So, I suppose I should just look at my switch actually and see if there's any corrosion on that thing. You take it apart and clean it because it's pretty gross. And, well, it's not that gross, but it's gross enough. Take it apart, clean it, and then see. Because I'm missing the signals on the driver's side.
And I took apart the switch and cleaned it. The hazard switch, for Datsun guys, you know that everything runs through the hazard switch.
Okay, but I know the blinker, when I turn the hazards on, which you have to excuse the mess, she's still just dangling. Turn the hazards on. You hear her doing doinking things. It says that it's only blinking on the right side on the dash. However, we are lit. They're blinking everywhere. So, that's what led me to believe it was a bad signal relay or blinker relay, whatever you call it.
Still nothing, same problem. Hold on. Let me turn the key on here.
So I got the little contact switch pulled out of the, I guess, whatever, assembly. Cleaned it all up, took it all apart. It was a little corroded, not too bad. Now it actually, well, it always worked on that side. You can see that light blink down there. Down on the drinker side. But it never worked on the driver, which was the one that we were having trouble with, obviously. It would just go on and stay on solid. Now we got her. It was just the socket for it. Even though it looks like, well, it's not awesome shape, but I mean, it's good enough. It has, you can see a broken wire, or a little bit frayed wire in there. I'm guessing it must have grounded out on something and somehow burnt itself inside. I don't know. Anyway, I went to the local MAPA, picked up one of these, and that seems to work. It signals a little tiny bit slower than that side. I don't know if it's just how I have it connected right now. I mean, I just got connectors stuffed in there, so that might be it. I will have to modify the back of the lens just a touch so that it actually like fits in there. Well, the light bulb doesn't fit in there anyway. Ends a little bit so that the thing actually fits in there, but it's nothing 2 minutes with a little hole saw or whatever can't take care of. And it appears that if I do it like that, then the screws will just catch the lip right there and it'll just hold her in there perfect. So that's mint. Very exciting. One major thing checked off the list, even though the small thing, just trying to chase down these gremlins. Make a guy mad. Well, we got her. It's all retrofitted into the original bracket there. I had to do what John does best here and do a little grinding to the outside perimeter of the thing, make her fit. But it's mint. I'm glad it's working. We'll have to probably make the harness longer. I also have to put the factory pigtail off of the other connector on there. Now we're moving over to the dash. It was super cracked up, and a buddy of mine actually took it and started refinishing it for me. And then he ran out of time and got busy with life, so got her back and carved her out a little bit here, and we're gonna try and patch this up so we can put her in the car. The finish doesn't have to be perfect, because most likely we will just scuff it and bedline it. Because I mean, short of buying a new dash, that's a whole lot of refinishing if we want to make it look beautiful. So as long as it has the right shape, it's not cracked, and is black, I think we'll be happy with that. Well, we totally forgot to film, but pretty much we just carved out the crack to kind of 45 it like you would a weld on a thick plate, and then mixed up a coat of fiberglass reinforced filler and crammed it in the crack, and then put over this stuff is just like drywall, mesh drywall tape, and put it over our crack, and then mixed up another coat of that stuff and smeared it in there. So now we're gonna let her harden up, cure up, do what it needs to do, and we will address it again after it's all cured up. Well, I think this is turning out pretty awesome. It's she's firmed up, she's nice and strong. We've been handling this thing, and it's, yeah, not even flexing, nothing. Before it was just about ready to fall off. So it's just cured up pretty good. And I think we're gonna hit her with the sander and then see. Looks like there's a place right there where it needs a little more, and see what this does, if it flakes off or what it does exactly. But yeah, get after it with the sander and see what she looks like. Just laying a coat of primer on it.
You want this covered, the Datsun too?
Yeah, I might as well.
I guess you never seen that Cavalier I had. Had a blue dash.
Oh, buddy's Sunfire. I think it was blue and white. It's pimping. From the first coat of filler primer. Doesn't look too bad. Still needs touch-ups and stuff, but all this was smashed out, big hole, cracks all over. But that doesn't, and this was all broken up. That doesn't look too bad at all. Very impressed.
Right, so we're back with a little bit of a dash update here. It's been a couple days, a few coats of stuff. We started out originally, I don't remember if I talked about it, but I was going to use this wrinkle paint. It's for valve covers. I've used it with some success on valve covers, and I thought it looked pretty good on my valve covers. So I'm like, sweet, we'll try it on the dash. It looked terrible. It like wrinkled beautifully in some spots absolutely disgusting. Just bunched up, looked nasty. So I sanded that off after it dried up, and I went and got some, shout out to Dupacolor, you can sponsor me. I went and got some Dupacolor truck bed liner, or coating I guess it is. And, oh, get that out of the way. That seems to have done the trick. That, I mean, not perfect. There's obviously a couple little blemishes where I could have filled or sanded a little bit more. But overall, like, I really like how this turned out. This is, you know, from a couple feet away, it looks like a factory dash. It's not super rough how bedliners normally are. It's actually quite smooth. Overall, just a really nice finish. It's just smooth. The color consistency is the same. The only parts that bug me is the parts that I didn't do enough. But you know what? It's like they say, it's good enough for who it's for, and it's for me. I'm pleased with it. So we got the dash out right now, the steel part. So we're gonna start marrying these two together and get them all coupled up and get them back in the car. Finally, this car hasn't had a dash in years. Honestly, probably like 4 years. I don't even know what it looks like anymore. Well, we got the interior all back in. The dash turned out great. I am so happy with that. I did have a little faux pas where I put a dent in it because I rolled over a screw on the bench. So that's unfortunate after all the work that we did, but I like it. We got most of the wires hidden away. I just need a kick panel for down here somewhere. I have to find one. I don't know where mine went, but so that I've seemed to misplace that and the little box that goes around my steering column. So that's unfortunate. I'm sure it'll be around somewhere. Since I put a different shifter in and different tranny and all that jazz, the stock center console wouldn't work. If you've been following along for a while, you know that. So it has a cup holder that we kind of fabricated shifter that this ball is stripped on and never stays straight. But anyway, made a custom little panel just to house the ECU turn on switch and the hazard switch. And then I got the OBD2 port kind of just tucked in there. Mint. So I am really impressed with how that came out. I like it. Pretty much just need a vacuum now, and then the interior is as good as it's gonna get without spending a bunch of money. So that's as good as it's gonna get. Fixed up the passenger side door. It now opens from the outside, so your passengers can actually just get in, you know, by themselves instead of having to be let in. It turned out to be just a broken handle. Are you gonna get in, or are you just gonna slam my door all day?
I'm gonna get in.
Well, boys, one more thing checked off our list. We got the hood pins thrown in there. Our hood is now secure. It's probably gonna be a little bit squeaky, but it is secure. Pins in both sides. Made these little plates to go kind of just underneath, just give it a little bit more support. Also, I may have cut the hole for this a little bit too big, but that's neither here nor there. I think it looks good. They are the cheapest hood pins in the history of mankind. Like, is it too hard to make quality stuff? I'm not even going to touch it. They work. I'm reasonably happy with them. Yeah, I think they add to the character of the car, definitely. You can barely see them, but I'm happy with that. There's one more thing off the list, just getting that much closer. Alright, so we are moving on to the grill. Pretty simple. I have part of the stock one somewhere. Oh yeah, right here. I have part of the stock one here. Basically, trying to replicate that. This one, I got it from a friend of mine. He dismantled it with a Sawzall. Unfortunate, but it happened. So, what I have here is I got a bunch of pieces of flat bar, and I got them kind of cut at the angle that I want. It is just barely, I guess, shallower than the peak of that, so it's just a little more straight across, but still has a semi-peak or a center line. So, and it just won't curve as heavy, that's all. So, got them all cut, and I'm just gonna tack them together, nuke them together real quick, and then still got to figure out some way to mount them. We'll figure that out once we got them all welded together, I guess. Yep. Well, if you guys remember that pile of flat bar that I had on the bench, it is now resembling a grill. Got her all laid out. It's just tacked onto this beam in the middle, and they're all welded on at an angle so that when we stand it up, then it will lean forward, but all of them will be still straight, if that makes any sense. Kind of like how the factory one is. When it sits flat, I don't have a flat surface no more. Anyway, when it sits flat, then all the grates are 90 degrees pretty much to the car, as opposed to just welding them on, you know, just totally, what am I trying to say? I'm confusing myself. That is it, minus the signal lights that I got to cut in there. And obviously some mounts. It's just so tight that it's fitting by itself, but I am liking that. I'm liking it a lot. You got the point there. That lines up with the hood. Needs to be, I'll probably grab my sander or whatever and just make it squared off nice and straight. Some of them weren't quite straight, but yes, I am okay with that. So yeah, got to figure out a way to mount it and get the signal lights in there. It kind of has that new 400Z look, in my opinion, which I don't mind at all. It's a lot of grill. We're talking like, if we hit a bird, there's just I'm sorry, birds. No hope. Got to figure out a way to mount some signal lights. You can see I have one kind of tucked in there behind. And that was my original thought, is I would tuck them behind so I didn't have to cut a whole bunch out of my grill. But we did find some of these. You might have to come hold them because this camera, you gotta be way back. We did find some of these at Princess Auto. They're just little, like, maybe 2 inches long. There's 2 of them there. And we're just gonna recess them back into the grill just a little bit so that they're kind of flush with the grill and don't like poke out. Cause right now they're poking out pretty good. But yeah, so they kind of sit flush in there and then kind of look like the factory ones, because the factory ones were that long kind of rectangle-y thing too. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna pull the grill out now, cut the little slot out so the lights can sit in there, and yeah.
And they're fancy LEDs.
Oh yes, and LEDs. Well, I know we haven't checked in a little while, so we're going to give you an update on how our grill turned out here and our signal light situation and all that. But old Trout came over, I was wiring up some signal lights, and he's like, I have an idea. I'm like, yes? And then apparently he was laying in bed dreaming about this car with a splitter on it. So we grabbed a cardboard box, started making a splitter, and I just continued wiring in signal lights. And he just went to work, got all artsy and crafty with it, and I mean, cardboard right now, but check it out. And I think that turned out deadly. Yes, it's cardboard. Yes, it's being held up with coffee cans and tuck tape. But I think that looks great. That just makes the whole front of the car, I'm thinking. It's a little bit weird to see on camera. Also, it doesn't help that the hood is, you know, half popped, so kind of makes her look a little tall and not so wide. But in person, man, this thing she looks great. I am super stoked. Well, we're just starting to lay out this front splitter. Got our cardboard template. Transfer it over to some decent sheet. And yeah, chop her up. Not sure totally where we're gonna mount it, but we'll figure that out once we got the plate cut. Should be sick.
barbecue paint, bro.
You betcha. She's gotta handle that heat of all the downforce it's gonna provide, you know?
Yes.
So,
Dude, this thing turned out so good. That is beautiful. That just makes the front of the car. Yes. I can't wait to get it outside and actually see it in the sun, you know, be able to take more than a step back. That wraps up all of our fixes. The dash looks great. The signal lights work. We got a splitter. The valence is all, well, clad in garden trim. We've got some, yeah, everything. The grill turned out amazing. Big thanks to Trav. He came over and he helped me. We put in a ton of work this last couple weeks, so it has been great. We are ready for a first drive. I'm ready for a first drive. This thing has been in the garage, being worked on for just way too long, and I'm tired of it taking up garage space right now. Honestly, I just want to see it outside. You can get more than 3 steps back and have a look at it. Yes, excited. So anyway, thank you guys for hanging out this long. If you made it this long, then you're the real MVP here. And yeah, catch you on the next one.
well, you guys asked for it.
It's looking like it's about that time. You guys have been waiting.